Hello everyone and welcome back to Masterclass Excel. I'm Tom. In our last few lessons, we built some formulas, we organized our data with filters, and we styled our reports to highlight performance. Now so far we've been working with what Excel calls a range. Essentially it's just a block of rows and columns, but there is a massive secret in Excel that separates the beginners from the pros, and that is converting a standard range into an Excel table. And today we're going to be talking all about tables. So by the end of this lesson, you'll know how to transform a standard order log into an intelligent table using a simple shortcut. We're going to watch formulas automatically copy themselves down an entire column in a single click. We're going to take a look at how tables let your spreadsheet dynamically grow as you add new customer orders or product columns. And finally, we're going to apply professional naming conventions so that our tables are instantly recognizable when our files get too large. So let's dive in and unlock the magic of tables together using our order tracking data set here. Right now, our sales and orders log looks like a table to our eyes, but to Excel, it's just a collection of independent cells. We've got rows with data, we've got columns with data. To change that, we're going to click anywhere inside the data set. Anywhere will do. And we're going to use the keyboard shortcut Control-T. And this is going to tell Excel that we want to create a table out of this data set. We get a little pop-up window asking where is the data for your table, and you see there's a preview outline of where Excel thinks the table is going to be. We can scroll down a little bit just to confirm that yes, it has selected the entire data set. This is exactly what we want. You'll also notice a checkbox here. My table has headers. Most of the time you're going to want to have this box checked because most tables do have header rows. And what I mean by that is the top row is describing what everything in that column represents. So column A has all the order IDs, column B has all the customer names, etc. So we do definitely want to have that checked. Now I'm going to click OK. And here's our table. By default, Excel selects the entire table once you create it. I'm going to click off of that so we can read it a little bit more clearly. And you can see immediately some things that have happened. We get professional alternating row colors to make the data a little bit easier to read. We've got our built-in filter drop-downs over each column header. And we have a brand new table design tab up in the top ribbon of Excel. And once you create the table, Excel will default to displaying this table design tab for you. We have just turned a static order range into a living, breathing object. Now, one of the most frustrating parts with working with traditional ranges is writing a formula on the top row and having to manually copy it down 40, 50, or 500 rows. So watch what happens when we do this inside the Excel table. We're going to add a new column. We're going to call that total revenue. Now I'm typing this to the right of the last column in the table. Watch what happens when I hit enter. It knows that I want to add a column to this table called total revenue. And now we want to create our formula. It's going to be a simple one. We want to multiply the number of units sold by the unit cost. Now before I go any further, let's time travel back to a lesson or two ago. We're going to highlight the unit cost column here, and we're just going to change that to currency as the cost is a dollar amount. All right, so we've got our new column called total revenue, and we want to just do a simple formula here. The total revenue is going to be the product of the units sold times the unit cost. So we're going to say equals, and we will click units sold, and then the asterisk for times, and we're multiplying that by the unit cost. Now let's take a look at this formula. It's not saying E2 times F2, which is the cell that contains units sold and units cost. Instead, what it's doing, since it is now a table, is it's knowing that the table has headers, and everything under the units sold column represents the number of units sold. So now our formula, instead of having a difficult to read cell number, it's now giving us more information. It's more descriptive. It's telling us exactly what we're doing. We are multiplying the number of units sold times the unit cost. So now we have a clear understanding of what this formula does. Let's go ahead and hit enter and see what happens. Aha, it did not just create the formula for row 2. It knows that we want to perform the same function all the way down our data set. And if I click, you'll notice the formula remains the same. And for each row, it is applying the unit sold for that row times the unit cost for that row and giving us an answer. Now I'm going to scroll down here, and as I scroll, watch what happens at the top. The column letters A, B, C, and D have automatically changed once we scrolled past the header to show what the headers are. This happens in every table. So if you scroll down and the header is no longer visible, it automatically will replace A, B, C with the header name of that column. And what I want to show you now is how the table doesn't just save you time on formulas, it actually understands when your business grows. So as you can see here, the table clearly ends on row 46. That is the last piece of data that we had before we created the table out of this data set. Let's say we want to add more information. We had a new order. That would be, going by this logic, ord-1045. I'm going to tab over to the next cell, and Excel knows that you're adding more information to the table. So what does it do? It extends the table down into the new row you've created. We can do this again. ORD-1046. Tab over. And what we Excel nerds say about this is when the data grows, the table knows. You can see to the far right, the formula that we carried down, it's currently representing a 0 because we don't have information in the units sold or the unit cost fields. However, it knows that the formula needs to remain intact in this column for any new additional data that's added to the table. So now let's just add in a little bit of dummy information. Let's say the customer is Sarah Davis, and her order is also for electronics. You'll notice also in a table what it's doing. Electronics is already an option under category, so I start typing the word and Excel knows. I can override this if it is another word that I'm trying to type, such as, let's say, elephant, but it's not. So I'm going to delete that and start typing electronics, and there it is. We're going to go ahead and tab over to the next column. And we're making this up. So north, let's say there were 15 units ordered, and $150 is the cost per unit. When I tab over, our formula automatically looks at these two cells and gives us the answer for total revenue for that new product. And now just to make things a little bit quicker, we're going to go ahead and copy this and say this guy made the exact same order another time. Now let's take a look at the way Excel names its tables. Each table has a name in Excel. And to see what the name of the current table is, we're going to click anywhere inside the table. We're going to go up to our Table Design tab, click on it, and on the far left you see Table Name, and Excel has named this table Table 1. It's a default name, it means nothing. When you're organizing your data in Excel, it's very important that everything has a meaning. We know that this table means something, and we want to give it a descriptive name. Table 1 does not give us any information. Imagine you've built this file out and you've now got 10 tables on different tabs. Would it be more useful to you to have every table named Table 1, Table 2, Table 3, or something more descriptive like cities in region or list of categories? So what we want is to give this table a nice descriptive name, and every table tells a story. What is the story this table is telling us? It's giving us information on every customer and the orders that they've made. So a good name for this table might be customer orders. Notice I did not put any spaces in between customer and orders. I keep it one long string, but now when I click inside, anywhere inside the data set in this table, the table name is now giving us something descriptive. It gives us what story this table is telling us. It's telling us information about customer orders. Now, Excel does not require you to name your tables. However, it is considered professional best practice. So now let's take a look at where we started with this data set. We've moved away from a rigid static cell coordinate system and stepped into an intelligent system that writes formulas for us, grows as our customer base expands, and stays neatly organized with a table name. In future lessons, when we cover things like pivot tables and charts, working with tables instead of plain old Excel ranges is a lifesaver, and it will save you countless hours of manual formatting and troubleshooting. I hope you enjoyed this brief rundown of the power of tables, the magic of tables. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson where we're finally going to bring all of this data to life with professional charts and graphs. See you next time.